I got this car to exaggerate a little bit the situation and show you. I would like to show you how you can use the setup engineer bot that you can find in my Discord channel to get a setup, so to help you make your setup better to your needs. Again, the setup engineering bot in the Discord channel is basic. It won't solve all your problems. It won't even solve at all your problems if you don't know what to ask them, what to ask the bot, and you won't know what to ask the bot if you're not consistent and you don't understand what the car does. So if you ask the wrong things at the bot, it will give you the wrong answers for your case. Also, it will not make you faster. Forget about it. Possibly what it will help you to do is experiment with what it tells you and the numbers in the setup a little bit. And while you are experimenting, you might start to understand that, okay, I did this and that happened. Why? Because of that, So you will maybe start to understand better what all those numbers do to the behavior of the car. And hopefully it might even help you to make a setup that suits your needs and make the car handle better for you. Okay. But again, I mean, it's a stupid bot. It's mainly answers that I've put, specific commands that have specific answers. It's not smart at all. But the way you interact with that, it might give you, as I said, a meaning of what you're doing, and also very important, it might give you a method. That's the most important thing. A method to understand, okay, what I have to do into a turn, separate the turns in 3 pieces: turn in, apex, turn out, okay, exit. What do I feel from the car in each sector of the turn? This thing. Okay, let's go and ask the bot what I could do to change this thing on that sector. The bot will give you a list of things. You can start trying one by one and see what is more important. If it changes, sometimes it won't change because, again, I remind you, those cars work into a window of operation. So the change that you did to your car, the bot might keep telling you, I don't know, go stiffer, 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 for example, and at some point you get results, but at some point you go out of the window of operation and the car gets worse. If you keep asking, if you go out of so you say, I have understeer, and the setup says, okay, the bot says, go, softer. Okay, so you go softer, softer, softer. You still have understeer, softer. At some point, you go out of the range of operation for that car, and even if you are softer, you get even more understeer. So the bot does not understand that. It doesn't know what is the window of operation. That's on you to understand that I was improving, and now I have even more understeer. Okay, back one step and try something different. We will find out all of that into this kind of demonstration that we will try to do. Okay, so what we will try to do. I want to exaggerate the things. Okay, so I will go with the safe setup. Just fix the pressures. A couple of laps to understand what the car is doing, and also fix the pressures. Of course, as you know, this car is particular. It's not advanced. It's a very old car, so it has problems. Understeer is one of them, so I'm pretty sure we're going to experience a lot of understeer. Yeah, okay, all right. You can see here, I cannot even keep. Oh, understeer again. Lots of understeer everywhere. Oh, I mean here. Yeah, it has a lot of understeer. Well, we'll see if we can fix it and make it a bit more neutral. Ooh, whoa, so much understeer here. It just won't turn in. You could also hear the ABS kicking a lot. Oh, again, wow. One of the always important things that we always say, this car is understeer right now, but you can see how with driving you can still, you know, cure quite a bit of the understeer problems. You see, I can rotate it with better trade braking and cure some of the understeer problems. So again, driving is the most important factor. Oops, this is how you do it. I couldn't help it here. All right, so here are the pressures. It's pretty evident what is happening. So let's go back. First things first, obviously, fix the pressure a little bit. So let's go up by 5 here, and another 5 here, 4 maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, and at least 9 here. So 60, 26. Okay, and 26.3. Okay, great. Pressures should be good next time we go out, or at least more in the ballpark of what we want to achieve. Now let's go to our where is it here, to our Discord channel, and let's go to the setup engineer bot. We have pinned the commands here, so you can find the commands simply by going into the pin icon, or you can also write setup engineer question mark like this. So if you write setup engineer question mark, it should give you again the commands. Right, so what we need to do. I have understeer pretty much everywhere. Turn in, low speed, high speed, apex, exit. So, all right, so let's say setup understeer high speed entry. Let's see what it gives us. Setup understeer high speed entry. I need a space. Setup. You cannot edit. You need to write it again. So setup space understeer high speed entry. All right. So it says here 1 millimeter lower front right height, 1 click lower rear wing, 2 millimeters higher right height, and so on. Okay. I also have understeer in high speed apex and in high speed exit. So out of curiosity, it's always good to do one modification at a time. But because here we have understeer everywhere and it is severe, okay, let's have a look at what is happening on the other situation. So setup space understeer high speed apex, right? It goes apex. Yeah. High speed apex. And it says again 1 millimeter lower front right height, 1 click lower rear. So it's pretty much the same, at least on the first 3. As I said, and as it says here, the solutions are placed from more influence to less influence. Okay, so because I have a severe understeer problem right now, I'm interested in the first 2 or 3 indications. So the first indication says 1 millimeter lower front right height, again 1 millimeter lower front height. What happens if I write setup understeer high speed exit? 1 millimeter lower front. So for all of these situations, the front end has to go lower. Okay, let's get back to the setup. Let's go to aerial, and we see that the front end is high enough, and we can go lower. Now, as I said, we have a severe situation. Normally, you should do one click, go out, try again. Okay, especially if you have the aggressive setup, which is more balanced usually. But here we have a severe situation I want to showcase. And because I know pretty much what is happening, I will go with 3 clicks. Okay, so I will make the exceptions to go with 3 clicks. We don't have the infinity time, so let's make the car drivable by, I don't know, midnight or at least 1 o'clock in the morning. So let's go by 3 clicks and then move on from there. Okay, so 3 clicks front end and see what happens. Worst case scenario, I would completely eliminate the understeer, and I will start having oversteer, which, okay, we know what to do. So I remind you, we did 3 clicks at the front right head because we practically took the initial advice, okay, the most influencing advice of Seb, of our setup engineering bot, for the understeers that we are experiencing both in entry, coasting on the apex, and exit. Okay, right. Let's go back and drive. All right, let's do a couple of laps to put the pressures. I can see already improving here. Still some understeer. It's still early. Let's see first what is going to happen with more correct pressures, but certainly I can feel the car, going into the turn much better than before. Much better than before. So there is a substantial improvement with just 3 clicks, following exactly what the setup engineer bot told us to do. Hey, almost, yeah, flat out. Look at that. I mean, it's evident that at high speed the car is much better. It's still safe. It still has a little bit of understeer, but it's much better than before. Look at this situation. Not bad at all. Well, if the aggressive setup is oversteering for you, try it, explain to the setup engineer what's the problem, and it will probably give you the advice to, go the opposite way. Hey, not bad. Hello, Linda. Welcome. Ooh, again, so much understeer at this very slow speed turn. The high end, the high speed is much better than before. Oh, again, look at this. Ooh, terrible. Better here. So in the medium to high speed sector, the car is better. There is still a little bit of understeer, you see here, but it is okay, I can deal with it. Yeah, you can see a little bit of understeer here. It's not terminal, completely terminal as before, but there is still present. Let's try to brake a little bit sooner for the next turn so that we don't go that wide. Terrible understeer, but at least we kept the car in place. All right. Pressures were a little bit too high, but certainly much improvement. So back to the garage. We can lower a little bit the pressures here. So let's go down by 2 and here 2. Okay, rear seems perfect. So okay, that's good. And let's explain again what we feel to the setup engineer bot. So I still feel understeer at high speed, not so much, but certainly understeer at high speed, and especially at the exit. Okay, not so much at the turn-in, but at the exit, I feel understeer. So you can even copy past here. Oops, not at the search, but here. Let's go down and understeer, high-speed exit, and it still says 1 millimeter lower the front right head, 1 click lower rear wing. Right, so let's see how we are at the setup. Going to the arrow, we are getting close to the limit. So we have 57 millimeters front right head. We do 1 click, we are at 56, 55, 54 is the limit. So, okay, let's go down to 55. We still have, you know, not severe, but we still have understeer. Again, I repeat, I advise you to go 1 click at a time. You know, this is a extreme situation, so, and I know what I'm doing. I follow the recommendations of the setup engineer, but I take it a little bit extra, and I'm gonna do 2 clicks down to 55. I won't change anything else, and I will go to do some laps again and see if we have improved. So for now, I just taking care of the high-speed situation. Seems even better for an extra bit of oversteer, but the tires are still cold, so I won't express yet myself on that oversteer over there. I don't feel lots of oversteer in turn-in, so the car feels quite stable. I have some oversteer in acceleration, but let's see once the tires will be, you know, up into temperature and pressure. You see on the jump over there, you need to be ready. I've started braking way sooner over there. Oh, again, so much understeer. But we will deal with that in a minute. Nice. Yeah, much response here. Not perfect again. Some understeer over there. And some understeer. Ooh, some understeer here. So it's not that the car really improved. It improved a little bit, but not by much. Maybe, you know, the front end is starting to go into. Again, you see understeer here. Maybe the front end, the front splitter starts to stall, because it goes too close to the ground and doesn't like it. Who knows? But certainly, I don't feel a massive improvement. On the contrary, if I keep on, you know, asking from the car to turn in, it gets even worse. All right. We are improving, the car improves, but still not there. So, what do I feel now? I still feel some understeer at high speed. I have this horrendous understeer turning at low speed. So, let's go back to the setup and see what we can do. Discord, engineer. Okay, so many people writing here, that's good, okay. So setup understeer high speed exit. Again, it says, you know, lower front right head 1 millimeter. We've done that, we are at the limit almost. I don't want to do it again. So I'm at the limit, I don't want to do it again. What should I do? Second indication, 1 click lower rear wing and 2 millimeters higher rear head, for example. We can try those things here, okay? So 1 click lower rear wing and maybe try 2 millimeters higher rear head. Let's do this and see what happens. Oops, sorry. Here. So current setup, I'll go down 1 click here and 2 clicks higher rear right head and see if the situation improves. Okay. Out again. Yes, of course, you're gonna need to do some laps, guys, but, you know, it's for the best. That's how you do it. And you're doing it with a method. You are not like, let's click that and see what happens. No. One step at a time, trying to understand, separating the turns in turn, apex, exit, and see what happens, and see if you are improving. Oh, so terrible here. We need to fix that. I think now it's time to start fixing those two low-speed hairpins. One more lap. Yeah, definitely better here. There is understeer still, but certainly manageable. And the car is faster, by no doubt. Too much oversteer here, that was my fault of driving, but in the end, not bad. Yeah, I've touched the grass, so the lap is not valid, but it's okay. Yeah, the Becky, we're getting better and better. Fast approaching 25,000 subscribers, which is amazing. Thank you so much, people. All right, so we are already in potential 29 lows, 29.1. So let's go back to the garage. And I would follow again. Now, we have understeer. It's not severe anymore, okay, at high speed. So instead of going, you know, with more lower rear wing, I would go with 2 millimeters higher rear end. It's already the third selection, which means the influence will be there, but not as important. So I will just go, sorry again, I will just go at the rear and put 79. Okay, and I think it would be nice. Now, I really want, I mean, it's enough is enough. We need to fix the low speed understeer at turn-in. Turn-in understeer is terrible. So back to our setup engineer, and let's write down and setup. What is setup? Understeer again, low speed entry, which is practically what the guy above us written. So what do we have here? Less front braking balance. This is one of the most important things to influence the turn-in understeer, which makes sense if you think about it. This is how you need to use the setup engineer bot, right? So I'm braking and I'm turning in and the car simply just goes straight. Put braking balance at the rear. That will let off some of the longitudinal grip request from the front tires, and hopefully it will, recover some lateral grip on the front tires, because as you know, the tires cannot produce the same amount of maximum grip both in longitudinal and in lateral. You can only ask the maximum amount of grip in one sense. If you need both, you need to give up some of one and get some from the other. So if you are at maximum longitudinal grip and you need lateral, you need to lower the request for longitudinal grip so that you can gain more lateral grip, and vice versa, okay? Right, so less front braking balance, one click higher front bump stop range. Interesting, things here start to become interesting, okay? So let's do both of them, So let's go back to our setup here. It's 61, let's go down to 60. It's a little bit too much, okay, but luckily you can change the brake bias from inside the car and easily, go up and down and fix it if you are, if you have overdid it and instantly you have the rear end locking and going full oversteer problematic. So let's go down to 60 and let's go up by one click here into the bump stop range, okay? See what happens. I'm taking my attention on, okay, what should I do on the setup? And my attention focuses on driving and what do I feel into three separate sectors of each turn. And the sectors should be turn in, apex, and exit, okay? So what I'm focusing right now is not, what values, what clicks should I do on the setup? I don't care, all right? I'm focusing exclusively on how I feel the car going into the turn, like this, apex and exit. This is all I'm focusing, okay? So I'm acting as a real race driver. So the real race driver doesn't think of what values it should put into the setup. It just thinks, okay, I'm driving the car and I'm going into the turn that I feel, you see a little bit of oversteer here. I'm exiting the turn and I feel a little bit of something else. This is what you need to tell your engineer at the end of your laps. And another airplane goes to landing. This is the turn. Almost. We'll see. Still cold tires, so let's see in the next lap. Well, definitely better. Definitely better. Now, obviously, the more experts amongst you will say, yeah, Aris, come on, mate, you're doing the basics. I mean, what the fuck? Yeah, it's not for you guys. It's all for all the other people, and there are so many out there that don't know what to do with the setup. They need some help, or they simply, would like to learn how to behave and what to do with the setup. And I think, for starters, this is a pretty good, help. And once they learn how to do this, then they could start, maybe using the Motec or using the racing tools or whatever other tool that is way more advanced than this stupid engineer, but at least they will start to understand why they need to do changes, Look at that. Oh, that was nice. Finally, I got an apex without even thinking it. I just, turned the wheel and it went. Oh, amazing. So I have now to start understanding and finding out what else bothers me, okay? Because the car, oh, look at this, that was amazing over here. So the car looks pretty nice, almost neutral. I have to find out what bothers me. I'm trying to understand what I don't like to the car right now. I have this slight oversteer every time I go into the acceleration at the exit. See here, a little bit of oversteer. It's not that bad. I could make it, you know, the car could possibly be better if this wouldn't happening. Yeah, you can see over there again a little bit of power oversteer. Again here, ooh, a little bit more than needed. And you can also hear the traction control engaging a lot, so I could lower the traction control, but then I would have even more oversteer at the exit. Okay, so let's see what we can do about that. Okay, let's see if we can improve a little bit. All right, so go back again. So what was our problem right now? The whole car behaves decently well, let's say. I had some problems with the power oversteer at the exit. So setup, how was it? Oversteer, low speed exit. Okay, low to medium speed exit. Okay, so higher TC level. I don't want to do this because it's already engaging too much and it's going to make me even slower, and I want to be faster. So certainly higher TC level will fix that oversteer, but I don't want to get slower, you know. And the oversteer is not that big, so it doesn't really bothers me a lot, but it would be nice if it wasn't there. Okay, so that is very important, because as we know, the whole all the advice you get goes from more to less influence. So the first advice is a lot of influence, the second advice is a little bit less, and so on and so on. Honestly, I need not too much. I mean, I need a fine tuning, let's say. So instead of going from the first part of the advice, I will go from the bottom, because I need fine tuning, I need small changes. And the bottom says, okay, 1 click higher front bump stop, but I liked it because at high speed that helped me having less understeer. So I wouldn't really like to go back to less bump stop rate. So I would go probably with less preload. I would just try the first fine tuning and see what happens. It might not help me at all, or it might solve me the problem. Okay, so back into that mechanical grip. I can say I have a lot of preload differential. So okay, I will exaggerate now. Again, when you have so much preload differential, I won't advise you to go 1 click at a time. It would be difficult to understand, but don't overdo it as we're gonna do now. So go like 20, 30 clicks, 2-3 clicks at a time. So you can go from 150, you can go down to 120, try. You can go down to 90, try. Okay, we are going to do something more than that now. We are going to go down to 70 and see how it works. Again, because I don't want to do another 10 laps to find the solution. I know the solution that is going to work, but you get the idea, right? So you go down by 3-4 clicks on the preload if you see that it's too high, and see what happens. Okay, again, preloading is fine tuning. So we have this. Let's go back. and see what happens. Not bad. I could go on with the same, direction with the preload. Very nice on this high speed. Looks good. I've lost the apex. Lost the apex again. I could try a little bit extra rear brake bias. We did that before, so a little bit extra at the rear. Nice. Now the car is not easy, it's not an easy car, but it's much, much better than before, for sure. Oh, look at that. That was nice. We're going down to 28. Yeah, here we are, 28.9. Not a miraculous lap time, but we're not paying lots of attention. We started from the safe setup. We are doing exactly what the setup engineer bot is telling us to do, and we have 60 liters of fuel. It's hot, not bad. So we went down here to 59.4 something, and I still have a little bit of high speed downforce I would like to not have, and I still would like an even less preload because that sensation was good, but now that I went down a little bit with the traction control at 4, it feels like I could go even less. So let's do 2 clicks here, which is exactly what the setup engineer told us, and at high speed let's go back and ask again. So I have some high-speed understeer. So setup, understeer, high-speed exit mainly on the accelerator. We cannot do this because we are at the limit. We don't want to do this right now because I don't want the car to be. I need fine-tuning. So I don't want big influences. I need fine-tuning. So. We are doing less traction control, we are doing less preload at high speeds. Lower rear bump stop range. I don't want to do that. It's gonna be even, well, we could do that. So okay, let's try this. Lower rear bump stop range at 15, which seems like a strange thing. And we can try this. Why not? Setup engineer says to do it, so we'll do it. 15? 15, oops, something like that, and keep this as low as possible, it says. What will happen? I don't know. Let's try it. Last lap, I won't do any more. Okay, so let's see what we can do. Let's see if this improves the situation. No, with the GT3s you don't really want to lower the brake power. I do it for the Maserati that has no ABS to help deal with it. But, you know, ABS is good, so let it do its job. Ooh, that was a little bit of too much oversteer here. But again, I mean... Oh, oversteer. Cold tires, so let's wait. The bot is generic for GT3 cars. Some of the advice also works with GT4 cars, but maybe I need to, you know, fine-tune it for GT4 cars in the near future. Yep, I'm driving the Rex, and even the Rex behaves. That's why we choose it. The Rex is really on the limit situation. Very strange car, but still we made the Rex behave properly, which is surprising. Oh, no understeer at all at high speed. Let's see here. Oh, that was interesting. A bit too much oversteer here. It is to be expected on that turn, but it depends on you. Can you handle it? Look at this. Oh, look at how it turns. So can you handle this thing, or is it too much for you, you know? Alright, so pressure now should be almost good. Let's try to attack and see what happens. It is a little bit nervous. Yeah, some oversteer here. That wasn't good. No, lots of oversteer. All right, so I don't like it. I don't like it, okay? So we did something that the setup engineers told us, so we got down to 15 and we don't like it, all right? So what to do? What to do? So setup engineer, so we were here and he told us that. Now we have two possibilities. He told us to go down to 15. We could raise that and try 16, 17, 18, I don't know. Or, okay, we could do something different. We could do, since we want less influence than what we got, we don't want more, we want less influence, we could try the next one, which is lower on the list, you know, or even, you know, skip one and go even less. So one click lower front bump stop rate. We could try this, and we could even try less traction control, so which is even lower on the list. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get back to maximum here, and as we were before, we don't really have to change the bump stop rate, because if we are maximum, the suspension won't go on the bump stop rate, so we don't care about that. But if you insist, I will take it back to 500 just to be sure. So this is the situation as we were before, okay? And we want less, we want more fine-tuning. So as we said, we are going to try not this anymore. It didn't work for us. We want less influence. We will skip that and we will go for even less influence, okay? So less influence, one click lower front bump stop rate, not range, rate. Be very careful. All right, so one stop less, and maybe we can try this time traction control 3 instead of 4. Here we go. Let's do a couple of luck. Okay, stop. So why is the 15 in particular the rear bump stop range actually? It's not an exact number, but I do know that most of the cars at 15 bump stop range at the rear, they start to riding the bump stops when the speed is medium to high from the pressures they get, and you still get a little bit of extra suspension movement while you are still on the hairpins and you're not riding the bump stop. It is something that I know. It is something that you can check on the Motec. If you go on the Motec has a channel that tells you the suspension is on the bump stop or not on the bump stop. So you can go on the Motec and fine tune it. But since we're doing something, simplistic for guys to understand, this is an advice that I feel safe to say, okay, put it on 15 and you should feel only on the high speed corners the influence of the bump stop. Well, tire pressures are down. Okay, let's see if we have improved our situation. Yes, tires are very cold. This car is once this car goes, it's so nervous. Oh, that was nice here. Yes, of course, everything we talk about right now is done in real life all the time. At least my job, amongst the other things, is to find out what aliens do with their setups, and if I find out that they do something strange to exploit the system, then it means we have a problem with the physics and I need to fix it, right? So you will never see tricks on the setup from my side that only work in simulation. Everything we do is always working in real life. The effects might not be exactly the same, so it might be more or less, but the main thing that you're doing is still going to work in real life. Whoa. So that low traction control, cannot say I'm very confident, so let's go back to 4. Much better. Oh yeah, I can go full throttle here. Nice. You see, even with the arrows, I'm getting down to with the delta. A little bit slow into that hairpin. I overdid it. But still, pretty satisfactory lap. And I'm sure we could, with a little bit of practice, we could go down to 28 mids. Oh, too much, too much, too much, too much, oh, the rift, oh. All right. Okay, okay. That wasn't bad, right? So we now have a setup that, you know, responds pretty well. You could go up and down with fine tuning. I would stay in 4 here, and I would put that to 59.6, and I would give you the setup. So I will save it right now for you guys so that you can try it. We started on one of the most difficult cars in one of the most technical circuits, okay? So Lamborghini Gallardo Rex at Donington, okay? And we tried the car starting from the safe setup, extremely understeery, slow setup, you know, just to keep you on the road. And you know, we just followed the advice of the race of the setup engineer bot. Now, never forget the most important part. The most important part is rubbish is in, as they said on the setup, rubbish out. The setup engineer bot can only give you decent advice, simplistic but decent advice, if you know how to analyze what is happening on your car. So again, separate the turns that you are taking, you know, in so separate the turns in turning, under braking, apex, which you are coasting, and that permits you to understand if the car rotates or if, you know, goes wide somehow, and exit on power. And then with that information, separate the turns in high-speed turns or low-speed turns, you know, and go and ask the engineer the exact situation that you are feeling. Okay, if you cannot describe what you're feeling in separated sectors of each turn, then it won't work. So you also have to understand, am I getting understeer because the car is understeery, or because I'm just, you know, arriving way too fast on the turn and I'm stomping on the brakes like crazy and I'm turning the wheel like that and I'm understeering. No, the car doesn't understeering. The problem is in the middle. You know, once you know and you understand that, okay, my driving is pretty much consistent and proper, you have to do the correct questions to the bot. And once you do that, the bot will give you some answers, and then you have to interpret the answers. You have to know, is my problem big enough? All right, then I need to start, you know, from the first part, the first advice in the list. Do I need fine-tuning? Then I need to start from the bottom of the advice list. Okay. Did I made an error? Okay. Go back. I didn't like this advice. Go back and try something different. Don't let the advice there and try something on top of that. You're gonna confuse things, you're gonna mess up things. Go back one step and try again. All right? So, I hope that was interesting, guys. I hope you liked it, and I hope it can help you. Let me know. I'm open for questions if you have any. And yeah, wasn't that bad actually.